The Rise of Titanfall 2 is not something I had on my 2023 bingo card, but I'm sure glad it happened. Essentially, over the last couple of weeks, the player base has had a shot of life back into it. The player count has gone from essentially 0 on Steam back to around 10 to 20,000, which is almost hitting its new maximum record. And this is all because the game had an update that got the servers to start working again, on top of a $3 sale on Steam. Basically what happened, the quick story, is in 2016, Titanfall 2 released in between a Battlefield and a Call of Duty game at the same time. So Titanfall 2 never really got the chance it deserved, which meant this was going to go as a hidden gem to most players, including myself. I had played maybe an hour or two back in the day, long ago. Gosh, we're going on, this is about 7 years ago since it released. I played for just a little bit, but I recently picked it up for $3 on Steam. And I have to say, you are missing out if you have never tried this game. I have been blown away at the polish. I love the frames I'm getting on this game. It is 7 years old, I guess, but it does not look 7 years old. And the gameplay is so fluid. The mobility is incredible. Yes, there's a grappling hook, which is usually a great point of reference to if a game is going to be fun. That's always like a side joke I have with my friends. And this is the first time I've really played with mechs. Like, mech combat is super fun. So essentially, putting it out there for all of you that have never played it before, you play as a pilot, which is basically a Call of Duty type character, and then you eventually get enough kills and points to earn your Titan, and then you can jump in your Titan, and then you're playing as like this cool, we'll kind of refer it to as an Overwatch hero. There are different types of Titans, different types of heroes like there are in Overwatch, and they have different abilities and play styles. They do different things. Some are aggressive, some are slow, some snipe, some, there's just like that with the Titans. And so I've had a lot of fun experimenting with them. And when you get in the Titan, there's no better feeling than, especially if you're one of the first people in your Titan and you're just running around the map, killing everyone, and they're having a hard time dealing any damage to you. Because you really have to pull out special weapons or have your own Titan to take down another Titan. And so I have to say, I am blown away at the greatness of this game. I've already gotten my brother into this. I've already had 2 other friends buy this, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. And it's funny when you have games like that where you get into it, you tell your friends about it, there's an awesome Steam sale, and all your friends start getting into it. So we've had some really fun play sessions. I've dumped 30 hours into this game in the last 2 weeks, and it has been incredible. It does not feel like there's skill-based matchmaking into it. There are some games I question it, but so far I haven't really felt anything too concerning on that front. And so it's been a great time with me and my friends of all varying skill levels, which is how it should be. And I have to say, this game, as of late, is giving me a better gameplay experience than Overwatch 2 or Counter-Strike 2, which I did play test yesterday with my brother. We played one match, and yes, there was a cheater, so we uninstalled right after. Oh my gosh, don't you love FPS games in 2023? But overall, Titanfall 2 has been such a breath of fresh air, and there's a lot of newly introduced mechanics to the FPS genre I think most players have never seen before. So let's start with, there is a ton of wall riding and double jumping, and maybe you played an old Call of Duty game that had like the double jumps, but the movement in Titanfall is unlike anything I've ever seen, and I think you're going to find yourself loving it and getting addicted to it once you play it. It's sort of like playing Tracer for the first time in Overwatch or Genji, and you start to really understand the character, and you're like, wow, movement and mobility is a lot of fun in these types of games, especially if not everyone has it. And in Titanfall, some of the Titans have much more movement than the others, and so on and so forth. But the key thing to the game here is that there is so much mobility that lets you run across the entire map in an instant. There are abilities that help with this, like the grappling hook, for example, but there's a bunch of different things, and you don't have to pick the grappling hook. But across all of the abilities and the guns and everything you can pick from, the balance has actually been incredible. And there's some really interesting choices that the devs made here. Now, yes, I come from competitive shooter games, but I'm not playing this one as a competitive game. And quite honestly, I don't think most people want to play Titanfall as if it was a competitive game. I don't know if this would be a very fun ranked type game. So let's talk about the actual balance of everything. The balance is fantastic, and everything is so broken, and I mean that in an artistic way, where there's no really such thing as a perfect balance. It's more of like an acceptable balance, and I feel like Titanfall is wonderful for this. No matter what gun you use, it feels like it's strong. I can get as many kills as I want, essentially, with any gun I've ever picked. Yes, there is one that stands out among the other ones, and it's an SMG. And I would also say, yes, the SMGs, to me, feel like they're probably the strongest class overall, unless you can hit sniper shots pretty consistently. But what's really cool is that in this game, the devs made a certain choice to where ADS is not needed, aiming down your sights. Yeah, you can fly around this game hip firing only, whipping your mouse around or your controller joystick, and you will get kills. Your hip fire is very accurate, which is very cool for this arcadey style shooter, a movement shooter, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And I find that is such a fun design choice to where you don't have to aim down the sight. Certainly you can, and at longer ranges it makes sense to, but all of your close to even medium range fights, you can hip fire and you can be very accurate, which makes this game a total blast when you're wall riding around and you're just running and gunning along the sides of people. It is a great time. And all of this is to say, this was a game that was widely slept on, and I'm mad at myself for not playing it more back in the day and not giving it the justice that it deserves, because this was an incredible experience. I'm having more fun with this than I am Overwatch 2. And one of the main parts is that there's no BS microtransactions. Yes, you can buy a skin in the shop, but they're not hiding Titans or hiding guns in a battle pass. They're not selling loot boxes that, unlock you perks or something. Like, there's nothing like that going on. And it gets better on top of that, because apparently Titanfall 2 has one of the best campaigns like ever made. There's so many people talking about how great the campaign is. I personally have not played it, but this is another thing I get to look forward to on top of the 30 hours I've already put in this game in such a short amount of time. Of course, this is not sponsored by any means, but I'm just saying, if you're looking for another shooter game and you have some casual friends that want to play, this is such a fun experience. And I think you'll have some great nights with your friends playing this. Thank you guys for watching.